everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading Neuvillette Accessory by me. So let's get into it. The day had been long, and it showed no signs of ending. Neuvillette, Chief Justice of Fontaine, was engrossed in a towering stack of documents at his desk. You watched him from across the room, your heart aching for the man who worked so tirelessly for his people. The ticking of the clock was the only sound that filled the spacious office, save for the occasional rustle of paper as Neuvillette flipped through the reports. It was exhausting, and you could tell he was tired. However, he did not often grant himself rest, especially after the Archon stepped down. He felt a lot more responsible, like the entirety of Fontaine now rested on his shoulders. Neuvillette, you should take a break, he suggested softly, walking over to stand beside him. His gaze, intense and focused, softened when he looked at you. The lines of fatigue etched into his face seemed to melt away, replaced by a tender smile. I will, soon, he replied, but he knew better. You'd heard that line countless times before, so you gently placed your hand on his shoulder, feeling the tension coiled in his muscles. You knew that if you didn't force him to right now, he would not be resting any time soon. That was just how Neuvillette was. He didn't put himself first. Ever. And as endearing as it was not really that good to watch. You said that an hour ago, you teased, leaning down to brush a kiss against his temple. Come on, just a short break. You need to rest too. Neuvillette sighed, his resolve weakening under your touch. I suppose you're right, he admitted, pushing his chair back and stretching his arms above his head. The sight of him, so regal, even in his moments of vulnerability, made your heart swell with love. He was so beautiful and elegant, even though he was exhausted and tired. Yet it seemed like this was something he just could not stop doing, capturing your heart in his hands and toying with it so easily. You led him to the plush couch in the corner of the office, guiding him to sit down. He sank into the cushions with a sigh of relief, his eyes closing for a moment as he savored the reprieve. Thank you, my darling, he murmured, reaching out to pull you down beside him. You went willingly, curling up against his side, his arm wrapped around you, holding you close as he buried his face in your hair. You have no idea just how much I love you. How you make my life just better by existing. Ah, Neuvillette, you're too soft sometimes. But I'm glad that you think that I'm improving your life in some way. Really, all you need is just a break. But I'm glad I can help with that, even though I don't think it's a lot. And to be quite honest, without me, you would probably work yourself into the ground. You replied with a chuckle, but your tone was gentle. You knew how much his responsibilities weighed on him, and you were determined to be his anchor, his safe haven amidst the storm of duty that he never seemed to be able to get out of. Neuvillette's hold on you tightened, his other hand coming up to stroke your hair. Perhaps, he conceded at last, his voice a soft murmur. But with you here, I feel like I could handle anything. You shifted slightly, turning so you could look up at him. His eyes, a deep and mesmerizing shade of purple, gazed down at you with such intensity that it made your breath catch. I'm glad I can help, he whispered, your fingers tracing the line of his jaw. But promise me you'll take better care of yourself. For me. He smiled, a rare and beautiful sight that made your heart flutter. I promise, he said, leaning down to capture your lips in tender kiss. The world outside the office had faded away into nothingness, leaving just the two of you wrapped in each other's arms. Minutes then turned into hours as the two of you lay there together, talking about everything and nothing. Neuvillette's fingers traced soothing patterns on your back, his voice a comforting rumble, and you could feel the stress and fatigue slowly melting away from him, replaced by a warmth and contentment that only you could bring. Do you remember the first time we met? He asked suddenly, his eyes distant as they recalled the memory. You were so fierce, standing up to those guards who were being unfair. You caused a commotion, and I had to be called to see what was going on. He laughed softly, nodding. I couldn't stand by and watch them abuse their power. And then you stepped in, all authoritative and commanding. And to be honest, I was sure I was going to be arrested. I couldn't let that happen, Neuvillette replied, a hint of amusement in his eyes. You were right, after all, and something about you intrigued me. You smiled, resting your head against his chest. I'm glad you did. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here now. He kissed the top of your head, his lips lingering as if to imprint the moment into his memory. And you snuggled closer, feeling the steady beat of his heart beneath your cheek. You're my world, Neuvillette, he said softly, your eyes drifting shut. You too, Wayan. The warmth of his embrace and the steady rhythm of his heartbeat lulled you into a sense of peace, a rare and precious moment in the hectic world of Fontaine's justice system. For a while, you simply lay there, wrapped in the other's arms. The world outside could wait for now, because there was only the two of you here, lost in a moment of perfect tranquility.